then they have cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
Even before you do that, and not even including that, that's why I hardly even included that number, although in one state we have a tremendous amount of dead people, so I don't know. I'm sure we do in Georgia, too. I'm sure we do in Georgia, too. Really, how many people do that? You mean they moved out and then they said, "Ah, the hell with it, I'll move back in"? You know, it doesn't sound like a very normal. You mean they moved out and what? They missed it so much that they wanted to move back in? Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, and
that was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election. And I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else.
As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother.
Lying dog-faced pony shoulder. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you.
What's up, y'all? How's it going? It's above it motherfucking all time. How do you feel about that? Isn't that crazy? It's the best time. It's the best time for the best show. Hell yeah. Max is stretching. I'm stretching. Hey, Max the dog. Hello. How's it going, folks? How's it going? I've had one hell of a morning, let me just tell you. So, goddamn. God-ass motherfucking damn. Alright. One hell of a goddamn. Okay. Look at that goddamn dog. Holy shit. Alright, so we've got multiple options here. I could start with the recaps. Or I could start with the other news and then end with the recaps. What do y'all think we should do? What are y'all thinking? On the left coast, motherfucker. No such thing as a left coast. As you wish. Well, I don't have any preference. So, I mean, this is all up to y'all. Maxie! You don't need to chew on yourself, doggy. Look at this goddamn dog. You seeing this shit? Max, what the hell are you doing? This dog's crazy. Alright, let's start with adjacent news and then we'll end with the recap. Well, it's not necessarily adjacent, but it's news that I thought was interesting. Alright, so, woof, this is gonna be, y'all ready for this? Raise your hand if you're ready for this. I don't want to see any hands in the air because none of y'all are ready for this motherfucking bullshit. Nearly half of Republican voters called January 6th riot legitimate protest. Poll finds. Amazing. About half of Republican voters characterized the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol as a legitimate protest, according to a new survey published Thursday, finding that comes as a handful of GOP lawmakers continue to try to cast the riot in a more positive light. I want to remind everyone, we have been protesting in Elizabeth City for 60 days in a row. There's not been a single thrown fucking object, right? Not a single broken window, not a single, there's been only violence as Confederates have driven into the crowd. Now, I say Confederates not because I'm characterizing them. I'm saying that because that's what they themselves identified as. We went to their Facebook posts, and all of them were saying, I'm a proud Confederate, okay? So, they're calling us rioters for 60 days of nonviolent protest. And then those same people say that, when you actually try to break into the fucking halls of democracy, or whatever the fuck the fucking liberals say, right, that's fine. That's all good. Everything's great with that. There's no problem whatsoever. So, this is from Forbes. The Monmouth University poll conducted June 9th to the 14th in a survey of 810 adults found 47% of Republican voters say legitimate protest is an appropriate term for the U.S. Capitol incident on January 6th, while 39% of independents and just 13% of Democrats. Now that's a headline. That's a motherfucking headline. That's a fucking goddamn headline. 13% of Democrats say January 6th, no big deal? What? A majority of Republicans, 62%, also describe January 6th as a riot, meaning a large number of GOP voters have a nuanced understanding of the attack. That's not nuanced, Forbes. That's called cognitive dissonance, okay? You need to understand that. Nearly 9 in 10 Democrats, 87%, And 7 in 10 independents, 67%, also described January 6th as a riot, the only definition that drew across the board bipartisan support. What? Most Democrats, 85%, and nearly half of independents, 48%, called the Capitol attack an insurrection, a definition just 1/3 of Republicans agree with. Also, 3 in 4 Americans overall, 72%, define the events on January 6th as a riot, while 56% of the public describe it as an insurrection and 33% as a legitimate protest. This is a failure on all fronts. I mean, seriously, this is a giant fail. Like, this would be like if 9/11 happened, and instead of engaging in a giant fucking, like, war on terror bullshit propaganda campaign, everyone was just like, I guess maybe it was a terrorist attack. What if that? What if, like, on fucking, like, you know, August 2002, people were still debating, I don't know, was it really a terrorist attack? I mean, it might have been. Like, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's fucking crazy. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. So we don't need to really fucking read all that bullshit. But that's crazy. These motherfuckers are out of control. Y'all need to understand. They're out of control. They're like, they're crazy. Like, they're fucking, like, the leash is off, motherfucker. These motherfuckers are running around and there's no fence, right? Like, if there's a squirrel on the other side of the street, these motherfuckers are jumping across that street. Doesn't matter if there's trucks in the middle of the goddamn road. These motherfuckers are going after that squirrel. And fucking our democracy, I know, just bear with me, is the squirrel, motherfucker. And they're gonna kill that shit. So there's your little, I don't even know what to call that. Just, I don't know. It's something. There's your little something. Jesus Louises. Yeah, just some dudes flying some planes. No big deal. Now, just so you all know, I genuinely, I'm just, that is my actual opinion. I'm just joking. God-ass damn. God-ass damn. The hijackers' religious freedom. I mean, they're pretty free. I mean, being able to fly a plane anywhere you want without air traffic control, that sounds free to me. I'm just saying. That's pretty free. Alright, folks, we got another really cool thing that I wanted to talk about. Hey, y'all. Do you like cool stuff? I love cool stuff. God damn. Yo, my motherfucking eyeballs are crusty as hell. Wait, hold up. I'm in a good stretching position. Oh. Ooh. Getting a good stretch in. God damn, that was fucking incredible. Y'all ever get like the best stretch in and you just feel like a new person afterwards? You're like, oh. Because that's me. That's me. I feel like a new ass person. Alright, folks, let's go. So, Cory Bush and other Democrats have introduced a bill into the House of Representatives that would decriminalize possession of all drugs. What, come on, y'all? Cory Bush, let's go. Let's read this bullshit. So, let's go. A pair of House Democrats introduced legislation on Tuesday that would decriminalize possession of all drugs at the federal level for personal use and begin the process of prioritizing a public health approach to drug use over punishment and policing. Reminder, I want to let everyone know the Controlled Substances Act only exists because Richard Nixon wanted to target, quote, the blacks and the hippies. That is public record. You can search this. That is literally public record. That is why they instituted the drug war. To go after, quote, the blacks and the hippies. You don't need any other information. As far as I'm concerned, as soon as you learn that information, you should be against the Controlled Substances Act. And if you're against the Controlled Substances Act, you're against the drug war. That means you're in favor of decriminalizing possession of drugs. Cops should not have the jurisdiction to go out there and murder people over drugs, because that's what it boils down to. When you are enforcing drug laws with policing, what that means is you're going to kill people over drug use. Sorry, I disagree with that. If you think that it's okay to kill people over drug use, I've got news for you. You're a psychopath. You're a fucking batshit insane motherfucker, and you need to go to fucking rehab yourself because you're fucking out of control. So let's read this. These are necessary first steps, advocates say, for ending the war on drugs 50 years ago, after it was declared by President Richard Nixon. Representative Cori Bush and Bonnie Watson Coleman from New Jersey introduced the Drug Policy Reform Act, which would eliminate federal criminal penalties for possession of any drug for personal use, including marijuana, cocaine, opioids, various psychedelics, and other drugs banned under the Controlled Substances Act. The bill aims to begin repairing some of the damage to communities and the lives of individuals caused by the drug war, which has contributed heavily to mass incarceration and other forms of state violence that have fallen hardest on low-income communities and people of color. Just in the same fashion, right? Why don't you support the death penalty? Oh, because there's that percentage of people that are going to be killed and executed that are innocent. That's why I don't support the death penalty. And the same reason why I don't support the fucking Controlled Substances Act. Because guess what? There's going to be that percentage of people that didn't do anything wrong, and they're going to fucking get killed for it. They're going to get executed by fucking killer fucking KKK motherfuckers. Okay, that's what you need to understand. If you support the Controlled Substances Act, and if you support enforcing that with law enforcement and police, you are de facto a murderer. You are supporting murder. You are in favor of state executions, all right? If you're telling me you're against the death penalty, but you're in favor of the Controlled Substances Act, I've got news for you. You're a dumb motherfucker, and you should rethink your life choices, okay? Let's continue reading. The economic stability of our carceral state depends on this misguided and racist policy, and we are here to say no more. It's time that we end this destruction, Bush told reporters on Tuesday, adding that as a nurse in St. Louis, she saw how criminalization and stigma harms people who use drugs. Imagine what we could do if we built systems of care that treated and supported people. That is the world we should build. The legislation calls on Congress to refocus its strategies for addressing drug use toward an approach that is health-focused, evidence-based, and respectful of self-determination. Love that shit. The bill would shift regulatory authority over the Controlled Substances Act from the Department of Justice and its Drug Enforcement Agency. Abolish the DEA. Abolish that motherfucking shit. We don't need them. We don't need them. That's a bunch of overpaid, overprivileged, dumb motherfuckers who don't deserve a paycheck. Drug Enforcement Agency? Sniff my dick, you fucking loser. To the Department of Health and Human Services. Again, perfect. Signaling a seismic shift in terms of future policy that could reframe drug use as a health issue rather than as a criminal offense, at least for the federal government. The Controlled Substances Act forms the legal backbone for the drug war and the federal level by scheduling drugs, which makes certain drugs only available by prescription or illegal altogether. For example, marijuana is listed on Schedule 1 alongside peyote, MDMA, and several other drugs, including heroin, including methamphetamine, etc. Schedule 1 drugs remain federally illegal for any purpose, despite changes in state law, such as the widespread legalization of medical marijuana. I want to remind everyone, in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., in the District of motherfucking Columbia, magic mushrooms are decriminalized, marijuana is decriminalized, but the federal government, which resides in the motherfucking District of goddamn Columbia, says that those things are the most heinous and evil things that could possibly exist. What? What? Does that make any goddamn sense? Hell no, it doesn't make any sense. How can you legally smoke a blunt right out the White House, but if you go cross into Maryland, it's federally illegal and you can get life in prison? What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you people stupid? If you support this, you're a dumb motherfucker. I'm sorry. I've got nothing for you. You're just an idiot and you deserve to be treated like an idiot, because that's what you are. Currently, changing federal drug scheduling requires an act of Congress or action by the DEA, the Federal Drug War Agency, that has refused to reschedule marijuana. In theory, shifting regulatory authority over the Controlled Substances Act from law enforcement to HHS, a federal public health agency, would allow the government to begin the process of regulating drugs based on science and public health concerns, rather than regulating drugs in order to criminalize and punish people who use them. Supporters say the change would also be symbolic of the government's shifting priorities. The bill comes as new polling shows that more than 80% of Democrats, Republicans, and independents agree the drug war is a policy failure. 2/3 of voters say criminal penalties should be removed for all drugs, not just marijuana, so the money spent on drug enforcement can be reinvested into addiction treatment and mental health services. Other polls show that public opinion about drugs and prohibition continues to shift, but the bill still faces a steep uphill climb in Congress. Last year, House Democrats passed legislation that would remove marijuana from Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act, effectively decriminalizing cannabis at the federal level. However, the legislation went nowhere in the Senate. Reminder, the Senate is controlled by Democrats. Just throwing that out there. Democrats now hold the slimmest majority in the Senate, but the Biden administration has signaled that marijuana reform is far from a priority. Again, campaign promise. Campaign promise. They made a campaign promise. And not only that, but the executive branch has sole authority of the power to reschedule drugs. Joe Biden with the fucking signature, that's it. All he needs to do is have his intern print out a piece of paper and he draws on it, and marijuana could be off the fucking scheduled list in the same category of heroin and other such substances. Right. And they promised that in the campaign. Fuck it. Whatever. Who cares? I got more important things to do. Like declare opposing capitalism as domestic terrorism. And I don't know, tripling the funding for police in local communities. Right? I got way more important things to do. Like ignore climate change legislation and let Joe Manchin just destroy my presidency. Right? Fuck Joe Biden. All my homies hate Joe Biden. Kamala Harris ain't any better. She's a lying motherfucking scumbag. President Biden is wary of marijuana legalization, although he campaigned on it. What? He campaigned on that motherfucking shit. He went out there and said, vote for me, we're going to decriminalize marijuana. Now, as soon as he's president, hey, whoa, marijuana. Max, what the hell are you doing? Goddamn. And reports suggest Vice President Kamala Harris, the tie-breaking vote for Democrats in the Senate, may have flip-flopped after campaigning on the issue. If Democratic leadership has little appetite for marijuana reform, which is overwhelmingly supported by voters, then decriminalizing all drugs is a legislative long shot. Like other drug decriminalization initiatives at home and abroad, the Drug Policy Reform Act would not eliminate all federal criminal penalties for drugs. Federal courts could still issue fines for drug possession. Fuck yourself in the face. Although a judge could waive the fine if the defendant is unable to pay. Okay, so what the fuck's the point? Hello? Right? Create a commission of experts tasked with determining what amounts of specific drugs would be decriminalized for personal consumption. The commission would also make recommendations for preventing the prosecution of people who sell or distribute small amounts of drugs to support their own drug use or meet other immediate needs, making room for the decriminalization of low-level drug sales. Again, that's great, but again, the idea that, you can still get fined for smoking weed. What? Can you get fined for drinking alcohol in your own home? Imagine sitting on your couch with your 12-pack, your 6 beers in, and the cops fucking break into your door and fine you $300 because you were fucking halfway through a 6-pack. What? Or whatever pack I mentioned earlier. What? Does that make any sense? Imagine you're walking down the sidewalk, right, and you're smoking a cigarette, and a fucking van runs up to you, opens all the doors, and officers fucking beat the shit out of you and shove your face into the asphalt because you were smoking a cigarette. And then they make you pay a $500 fine. What? Imagine you're at Starbucks drinking a cup of coffee, right? And then all of a sudden, there you go, the Drug Enforcement Agency, police raid, they walk in, they run in, they shoot the shit out of 3 people, 2 people die, and then you get fucking locked up, and then you get a $500 fine for drinking coffee? What? How come all drugs aren't treated the same? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And if you think it makes sense, you're a dumb motherfucker. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, let's even go further. Imagine You're buying ice cream from an ice cream truck. What is sugar? A fucking drug. It's an addictive drug. That's what sugar is. So imagine you're buying ice cream for your fucking 6-year-old. Boom! Helicopters start swarming in. SWAT officers fucking drop down from the skies on ropes. They shoot your kid in the face. Your kid's dead. And then you get a $5,000 fine. What? What? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. So why is it that way for something like marijuana? Why is it that way for certain pills? Why is it that way for any kind of drug? It doesn't make any goddamn motherfucking sense. And if you think it makes sense, you're a dumb motherfucker. There's nothing going on in your brain. You're just fucking like, I could knock on the door and no one would answer because no one's fucking home. And the cops would break into your house and see nobody. They would shoot through the fucking windows and then no one would get killed because no one's fucking home because you have no goddamn brain because you don't know how to fucking think for yourself and you're a fucking moron. Okay? Anyway, that's the article. And I support that legislation. I support that. In my opinion, that's not far enough. All drugs should be legalized. Possession of all drugs should be legalized fully. No fines. Like, manufacturing these drugs should be legalized and regulated, like for safety purposes only. Not regulated so that major corporations can reap all the benefits and only have permits and you need to have several $1 billion in reserves to be able to file a permit. No. That's not the regulation I support. I want regulation to make sure that no one's exploding their own fucking houses. That's what I want. If someone wants to manufacture a drug, make them able to do so without killing themselves and their family. That's the kind of regulation I want. For safety purposes only. That's it, motherfucker. And if you disagree, and again, this is a situation that there is no centrism. There is no disagreement. If you disagree with me, you're a fucking idiot. You're a dumb motherfucker. And I hope that no one in your family drinks coffee. I hope no one in your family eats ice cream. I hope no one in your family smokes cigarettes. Because I hope no one in your family drinks beer. Because if they do, you're motherfucking hypocrites. And you deserve to go to fucking jail. Because if I can go to jail for smoking marijuana, if someone can get life in prison for smoking marijuana, then you deserve life in prison for drinking Starbucks. End of story. How are y'all feeling about the energy levels, by the way? Biden lied? Whoa. Sorry, Jack. Oh my god. Fucking sorry, Jack. That's so good, Jack.
Get your words straight, Jack.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm working right now. All right. Which mural won the popular vote? None of them, because the city demanded that they change the design, so the voting contest was for nothing. God damn it. Yo, this morning I have been like hopped up on motherfucking Max, what the hell are you doing? Did you drop your ball back there? This motherfucking dog. Hold the phone, folks. I gotta get this dog's ball. Maxie, what did you do? Did you put your ball back there? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Maxie, get off of me. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you get your ball. What'd you do? There you go, bud. Sweet, precious puppy. I'm gonna turn my air conditioner on. Can y'all hear me when I'm behind my computer? What's up? Am I audible? You ever notice most superheroes use their power to keep the world as is? That's actually a really cool observation. Also, sorry, there's some drama going on and stuff, so... Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Okay. What do we got? What's on the itinerary? Oh, right. I'm doing a news show. Hell yeah. All right, let's go, folks. Doing a motherfucking news show. Twitter fight? No. Don't worry about it. I shouldn't have said anything. But let's get into the news. So, yesterday was day 60 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City over the police assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. And again, we've been protesting for 60 days. Some would say that's 2 months, though some of the months had 31 days. But, you know, that's not important right now. But either way, we've been at it for 60 days consecutively. I have been documenting every single day from 1 all the way to 60. So if you're ever interested in what happened on day 12, you can go back and watch my content. If you're interested in what happened on day 39, go back and watch my content. I've been there for all of it. And yesterday we did 2 distinct protests. We did the regularly scheduled one, and then we did a spontaneous one in the evening, and I will be covering both of those protests in this video in chronological order. So yesterday was Juneteenth, and the city of Elizabeth City had made Juneteenth a citywide holiday back in May, and then surprisingly, the federal government also did so this week, or I guess technically last week, because today's Sunday now. And so yesterday was a nice celebration. I also want to say that the mayor gave some remarks at the Juneteenth thing, and I recorded it. I will upload that as a separate video without commentary. I will upload, well, maybe there's a little commentary, but I will upload that as a second video after this stream is over. So if you want to go watch her remarks, you can feel free to do so. I don't think anyone else was recording it, so I was like, I'll record it and I'll post it. So I'll post that later. But either way, so we gathered outside of the courthouse, and we marched from the courthouse down to Water Street, passed through the farmers market, and entered the waterfront park. Overall, the march was about, maybe 25 minutes or so. It was relatively short, and then we went to the waterfront park for the Juneteenth celebration. Now, again, I'm not a meat eater, I will say. And I will also say that some of the people that were manning the cookout, they were very nice, and they got me veggie options. I love this sign, by the way. Like, I just... Okay, look at this sign. Look at this sign. It's so good. It's so good. Got justice? I love it. Someone brought like a bunch of like really funny, like, well, not like they're not all funny, but just like good little kind of little, like, I guess memes you could say, and put them on signs. And so yeah, so I would say the first march, the Juneteenth celebration, was really good. We had a lot of very, very hyped up people. A lot of people had fun at the cookout, and there was some music and all that kind of stuff. And overall, I would say it was pretty good. And some of us wanted to do an extra protest in the evening, and so that's what we organized for later on. Not necessarily to say that this early protest was insufficient or whatever, but we just wanted to do more because, there's a lot of racists in Elizabeth City, and there was a lot of racist events going on in Elizabeth City, and we wanted to cause a little bit of a ruckus. And so that's what we did. And so I've got another Twitter thread right here of us later in the evening. We went out at around, I think we got downtown at around 8 p.m. And so we went down the sidewalks because we, didn't have that many people. There were only about 7 of us. And so we went down the sidewalks chanting, and there were a lot of, there was like this big event. You'll see it outside of Big Boss Burritos. Look at this one cop, by the way. Look at this. I'm just going to mute that because they're playing music. But look at this cop, thin blue line mask. So I go in there, I zoom in. S. Wright, serving since 2006, or is that 16 or 18? Either way, S. Wright, we'll figure out their name later, with a thin blue line mask on. Very interesting. Now that is the one officer that was at the event happening outside of Big Boss Burritos, which is a Trump supporting business that had basically an entire crowd of white people. Very interesting. So, we then went through Palin's Alley, which is where a lot of people get drunk, and people were not very happy with this. I want to like zoom into this section. Like this, I just watch the reaction of this person over here.
Fucking racist too. Andrew Brown. Andrew Brown.
So I don't know if you can hear it, but she's like, I got my kids. I got my kids. Okay, if you got your kids, right, and you're so offended at the idea that you're being called a fucking racist for not supporting protests because someone was murdered, someone got shot and executed in your city, I got news for you. You're a bad parent. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. If you care more about the F word than fighting, police brutality so that your kid doesn't grow up to die in a fucking, situation and altercation with police, I've got news for you. You're a garbage parent. So she starts, doing this bullshit. And I thought that was really funny. And we just walked right past. We just, didn't even acknowledge. I recorded a reaction. It was pretty good. So this is the first notable incident that occurred. We're going back through Big Boss Burritos. And, again, this is, as you can see, there's, the one black person in the entire crowd. And they give us a nice solidarity fist. Right? I'm going to mute this because I don't know the music's copyright status. And so as we're walking through, I see this guy in the blue shirt. This guy in the blue shirt. I'm pointing at my screen. Look at me. This guy in the blue shirt. Watch this. So this guy pulls out the white power symbol, right? Now I got it with my camera, right? And hey, I don't know if the guy knew I was filming, but I made it very obvious I was filming because I already got it on the camera. So when you put it back down, now as you can see here, if you're very careful and you look, right, his wife puts his hand down. Check this out. His wife puts the hand down, boom, right? Like, what are you doing, right? And then, wait a second, I already saw you. Look at this guy's face when he sees me. Look at his face. Like, he's scanning the, did anyone see? Did anyone see? And then he sees me zooming in on his face, and he's like, oh my God. Like, I just love it. Look at their faces. They're like, oh no. So I want to be very clear. We know who these people are. He deleted his Facebook account. I don't know if he deleted his like, all I know is that he had a Facebook account, and it no longer exists, because I had never heard of these people before. But other people have told me that they had a Facebook account. Now, it's possible he deleted it at some other point. It's possible they got home and deleted it immediately. I don't know. But we know who both of those people are. The man who flashed the white power symbol works for EMS, Emergency Medical Services, I think is what that acronym stands for. Right here in Elizabeth City. So imagine, this is what I think about. This is a white supremacist that works for EMS in a city that is majority black. What? Well, not for long is that we're going to say not for long. And so, and the woman, guess what, is a teacher at a middle school. A middle school teacher, an EMS worker, white supremacists. Right? Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say you're married to a neo-Nazi after Trump's both elections, you're still married to this person. Chances are you know they're a neo-Nazi, and chances are you're probably a neo-Nazi too. Now, I don't want to necessarily say guilt by association, but I'm going to assume that this woman saw that I was filming, and that's why she wanted to have his hand put down. But guess what, motherfucker? I already gotcha, right? Because you can see she doesn't really care, right? She doesn't really give a shit, right? And then, like, as soon as she sees that I'm filming, she looks over immediately and says, put your hand down. Oops, busted. Right, and so we already identified this guy, so, skip that shit. And this is another very interesting interaction. This one was, like, just bizarre to 69 views, nice. This one was bizarre to me. So we went through Palin's Alley a second time, and listen to this one. Now, you can see this motherfucker's wife is embarrassed. Like, she doesn't want to be there. She's like, oh my God. She's thinking about her life choices, what led up to this moment. So let's watch. I just want to start over. So again, we're going through, right, Palin's Alley saying Black Lives Matter. And that is so offensive to this motherfucker. Just watch. You're drinking a drug. You are drinking a drug right now, buddy. So, this motherfucker... Now, I just want to say cognitive dissonance, right? This motherfucker is literally ingesting a drug as he is celebrating the execution of someone who uses drugs. Right? Like, what? What? Okay, you are literally altering your consciousness via the ingestion of a drug while celebrating someone who was executed because they had drugs. What? Can someone explain that to me? Can I get a what? But that's the absolute state of racists. They don't care that he was a drug dealer. That's irrelevant to them. All they care about was the fact that Andrew Brown was black. That's why. If a white drug dealer was executed in the same fashion, would these people be doing this? Nope. Nope. Because it's not about him being a drug dealer. It's about him being black. That is the problem. Again, we were going through the alley saying Black Lives Matter. and this guy said a drug deal, blah blah blah, right? While he's ingesting drugs at that very moment. It doesn't make any goddamn sense, and he's probably driving home, right? But again, I just want to say, I love how she's like blocking her face, right? Like, again, if we identify this person, we identify this person by proxy. But I did get a little bit of her face right here, so we could theoretically identify them if we want to. But again, I just like, what goes through someone's brain to celebrate the execution of someone who uses drugs while they're using drugs? Like, it's just bizarre to me. It's strange to me, the cognitive dissonance that is allowed in racist white America. And this is one of the reasons why we went downtown tonight, is because there are a lot of racists in Elizabeth City, and it's good to know who you live with, right? Now we know that someone who works in EMS is a white supremacist. Someone who works as a middle school teacher is a white supremacist. Now we know that. We have that information now. We don't know who this person is yet, but we're going to find out. This is a small town. We're going to find out who they are, right? And we're going to know who they are. We're going to know where they work, and we're going to know who to avoid, and we're going to know who to make a stink against. And that's what you need to do when you are in these situations where at least 70% of this city are racist motherfuckers. Like, at very minimal, right? And again, okay, let me walk that back a little bit. Either they're racist motherfuckers or they're complicit in racism and they don't care about racism. Let me add that on there, which is de facto siding with racists because the racists are the ones that have power in this institution. Right, so again, what we're going to probably start doing is we're probably going to start doing some more nighttime protests. We're probably going to try to, and again, we went about this in a way that was like, we're not going to engage, right? I made a little bit of a joke on this guy, but we're not going to try to get in fights, right? I just made fun of him. I asked him a simple question, like, why are you, celebrating the death of someone who uses drugs while you're using drugs right now, right? And he looked, dumbfounded. Like, look at his face.
Drinking a drug. You are drinking a drug right now, buddy.
Right, he just looks like, right? So, but we're trying to just, capture the Elizabeth City reaction to the protests. Because that's something that hasn't been documented too much on my channel, because, we haven't had that many direct interactions with them, outside of, when they try to drive cars into the crowd. But again, it's important to know where you live. It's important to know who you're living with, and it's extremely valuable to know that at least half of Elizabeth City are racist motherfuckers, and probably a significant majority are people that just don't give a shit. They just don't care. Who gives a fuck? I don't care if someone was shot dead right next door to me by police. I don't care. As long as I can go get my smoothie tomorrow, it's all good. And that's the kind of mentality that is destroying America from the inside, right? It's disgusting, it's reprehensible, and it's evil, right? And it's important to know what we're dealing with. So that's what we did on day 60 of protests in Elizabeth City. And day 61, we'll see how it goes, folks. We'll see how it goes. And I'll be sure to keep y'all posted. But I would consider day 60 to be a pretty good success. I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer to embarrass my wife. That's such a good comment. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. I just can't imagine being married to that. You know what I mean? Oh, Lord. But yeah, that's basically it for the protest. I'm just catching up on stuff going on. Whew. Why do you have the picture of Pelosi wanting to get fisted? I don't quite know what that means, but I think it's hilarious. I think the juxtaposition of a car on fire with Pelosi clapping like a jackass, again, I think that encapsulates this show. Look at this goddamn dog. You see that dog's tail? Look at that. You see that shit? It's just moving. Oh, yes, Mike K, I'm so sorry. I was like getting really into that. Be careful, there's a lot of racists in North Carolina. $4.99 from Mike K. I am very well aware. But the thing is I put myself out there, one, because I'm already out there. It's not like the genie's out of the bottle, right? So I might as well go full throttle. I don't know why I put up number 2, right? So I'm going to put it back down, and then I'm going to put it back up. With number 2 is it's good content. But hopefully everyone's having a great day. I am probably going to wrap up the show pretty soon. So again, tomorrow I will be back at the regular time, 10 a.m. I'm going to be doing 9 a.m. to 10 on the weekends, and I'm going to be starting at 10 and probably to 11:30 on the weekdays. So thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and keep me posted if you have any scoops. And if you don't have any scoops, but you're lonely, feel free to say hello, and I'll respond if I get the chance. Have a great day, folks. You know, that's it. That's all I got. So that's it. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know what else you need from me. Just get out. Get the fuck away. I don't need you. Just kidding. I love you. Please don't go away.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
I gotta go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, "Pigs in a blanket," talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well,
And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family.
Unbelievable.